can see how it looks like. It looks like this nice zigzag kind of a thing here, and it's also meant to fit into the uterus. Like this. The advantage of this one also is that time during very heavy flow, it can come out.
You know, actually, when you're on that, most people say that when the coil drops, it's because of funny styles. Like, you know what I mean, funny style. That's what people say. So it will make it clear whether it is a heavy flow or sometimes it is the baby maker that makes it come down. Guys, welcome back to my channel. Nurse Judy Kenya here. I'm back again with a very interesting video, educative and very informative. I've been promising this video for too long. It's way long overdue, but finally we have it. So today I'm going to have a guest, and the guest is none other than Dr. Kagema, who is a consultant gynecologist practicing in Nairobi. His clinic is based. This is Nyaku House. You know, the other time I told people on Instagram it's Hurlingan Plaza. I'm sorry for misleading you guys. It's in Nyaku House, first floor, room number 10. Please make sure you write that down. Anyway, so today I'm going to be having Dr. Kagema. We are going to be discussing about those questions you guys keep asking me all the time, mostly on family planning and vaginal care, on the fungal infections, PV, UTIs, everything. We are going to cover that on this session. So just stay tuned and wait for all the information. Yeah. So welcome to my channel.
Thank you.
I'm so glad to have you today.
Thank you very much.
So people are asking so many questions because, you know, as women, for some reason, we feel like we were just made to suffer. We go through a lot. Like from the birth, giving birth, pain, the family planning, there's pain, there's struggles, like, you know, we just struggle a lot when it comes to family planning, even trying to find which is the right fit for you. Like for me, I have given them my journey before with family planning, so they know how many kind of family plannings I've tried. Because trying to get the right one for you that has less side effects is very difficult sometimes. So mostly those are the questions that people ask. And the first one that I'm going to ask, let me start with the coil. There's so many things that people are talking about when it comes to coil. One being that how many types of coil contraceptives are there available?
Very good question, Judy. In the sense that it's a question people are always asking throughout about family planning, and especially about the coil.
Yeah.
And coils are of different shapes and manner. And you always hear that all coils, by the way, are made of plastic. And from that plastic, they can decide either to put an inert substance. 3 inert substances are used. One could be copper, the other one could be gold, which is discontinued. The other one is hormone, usually progesterone hormone. And so basically we have 2 types of coils, non-hormonal and hormonal coil. In the hormonal coil, we have what you call like renal coil. It has one hormone called progesterone. Advantage about it is that we also use it for treating people who have very heavy flows. Women who have like very heavy bleeding, these are fantastic treatment for them.
The hormonal one.
The hormonal one. Because it can also, apart from being used as a contraception, it can also treat very heavy bleeding. If instead of even going for surgery at times, we can use it as a stopgap measure to reduce the bleeding which women get during their periods. Then we have the other non-hormonal types, and there are 3 types of them. There are 3 common types. One you have this, what you call the copper T. It's a small one.
I'm sure you show them closer.
A small one. It's called copper T because it looks like a T. It is basically has this copper wound around it and also on the T. It is meant to fit into the uterus because you see the uterus looks like a T on top here. Looks like a T. So it is meant to make like a complete fit inside it. Then we also have what we call the multi-load. A fantastic, not very common, but extremely good. This also is a copper-based one, and you can see it has this rugged. Let me see if I can turn it up.
Okay.
Yeah. It has less slippage outside, so that when it is fixed, because one of the common side effects of the coil is that you need to realize that coils are put inside the womb like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a very small thing, by the way, which fits into the uterus. And whenever you're having intimacy is just above the vaginal canal.
Yeah.
But this coil is inside your womb. So, any sort of sexual practices will not make this coil come out. What makes the coils come out is actually heavy flow.
Right.
Exercise, any form of exercise, whether you're running, whether you're lifting things.
But it will never be sexual contact.
Never sexual. Sexual contact does not make the coils come out. Doesn't. Because the coil is inside. Yes. So you have now this is called the multi-load, a fantastic non-hormonal coil. Very good, especially for women maybe who have had maybe problems with the copper T. That is this copper T. Can use this one. We also have another one which is coming in the market that is also there. I think I was talking to you about it.
Yeah.
Called the intrauterine ball.
Yeah.
Actually, I remember you saying it's still like some jewelry
Yeah.
or some earring, but it's like small little balls in one big ball, and it is also designed to make sure that it has less side effects as compared to these other ones. It's not very common here in the country, but I think the next maybe like 2 or 3 years we're going to find it quite common here. Then we have one which was discontinued from the market.
Discontinued.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because I think they couldn't get the gold. It was actually gold plated. One of the important things about the gold plated copper was the gold plated intrauterine device was that it didn't have any of the side effects of the kawaida coils. There was less bleeding with it. There was less crampiness with it. I remember in the last 5 years we used them quite a bit, but the person who was manufacturing them couldn't get, I think, permit to really make them more. But those are the kind of the 4 non-hormonal coils we have. That is the copper T, we have the multi-load, we have the intrauterine ball, which I don't have here, and then we also have that gold-plated coil.
Thank you so much. Now, when you're still on this, there are these strings that are both on this one I can see and on this copper T. People say that some partners complain they can feel the string.
Okay. Very good question. Because one of the important things is that when we put the IUD inside your womb, remember the womb is up here, the vaginal canal is here. We leave little threads just hanging from the cervix. The importance of this is to make sure that when we are retrieving the coil, we are able to just retrieve it easily. Because if the threads are not there, it's difficult to remove that coil. So 2 things why we have the threads hanging a bit from the cervix. One, to enable when you're removing the coil, we easily pull it out. 2, also you can know whenever you see the threads there, where you can even feel it yourself with a finger, you know that your coil is still there. It has not been expelled. Because typically, in the first 3 months of insertion for the coil, that is when you have 90% of the coils getting expelled, especially because of the menstrual flow, especially heavy menstrual flow. Some partners complain they may feel
and
less than
is
5%.
Uncomfortable, like when they feel it, when the partner who is feeling the string, is it like when they're feeling it, is it uncomfortable, or they just feel it but it's not uncomfortable to them?
Some may feel, they say like less than 1% may feel, because they're very high up in the birth canal. What happens is that they're very soft material, and the partner may just maybe feel like a feather-like kind of a thing.
So it's not like something that will affect their sexual interaction, like
no,
it's not painful, it's just
it doesn't hurt them, it's not painful, and it will not affect their sexual performance. But they may feel it. And if they do that, there's an option that you can come to us and we trim them. We can actually be trimmed a little bit shorter, so at least the partner doesn't feel.
But if they're trimmed when removing, it will be difficult.
That is the other side effect, in the sense that we may have difficulties removing if we over trim them.
Right. So for the non-hormonal, how exactly do they work? Like
The non-hormonal coils.
Like when it's put there in the uterus, yes, it's there. Is it like a physical barrier? Is it something that is released from the property and all those?
Very good question. When you put this coil inside your womb, what happens is that this copper causes what you call like a reaction with the lining of your uterus, which make it hostile for the sperms to climb up and go along the fallopian tubes to meet the egg. So they create a hostile atmosphere for the sperms to climb up to go and fertilize the egg. So basically the mode of action for the non-hormonal methods is to create a place where the sperms are not able to climb up to go to the egg. It does not cause an abortion. People used to think, oh, coils cause abortions. No, coils even prevent pregnancies by making sure that the sperms do not go up to go and meet the egg at the fallopian tube.
And why do they cause heavy bleeding? Because that's one of the things that most women are struggling with. The heavy bleeding, the cramping. And the other thing also they want to know is the dropping the only cause why they conceive? Because there are people who have given birth, their kids come wameshikilia hivi. Walisema inakuja imeshikiliwa hivi na mtoto. What are the common cause of the conceiving part on that thing? Because actually by it has become so common. I thought actually it's the most effective, but it's turning out to be.
Okay. What I can say is the only way not to get pregnant is not to have sex. That's the only way not to have pregnant. All methods have a failure rate, and it's usually less than 1%. Most methods, including the IUDs, have 99% effectiveness. The only thing you find, like the coils may have more failure rates, is because many more women use it. Because non-hormonal, in fact, it's one of the most common methods used. And it's not because it doesn't work, it works very well for people who are able to deal with the coil properly, who don't have a lot of side effects. They love the coil because it's non-hormonal. Doesn't cause some of those side effects like maybe weight gain for some ladies or high blood pressure if you already have high blood pressure. But the important thing is one of the commonest side effects of the coil in about 5 to 10% of the women, they may get heavier flow, which is crampier. You may get heavier flow, more than usual, or which is crampier. But the good thing is the medication you can use during the times of your periods to reduce this heavy flow and the crampiness. But remember, it only occurs in about 5 to 10% of the population.
But for the one I want to understand, when it feels like most of the time, is it because it has moved from its place?
It's just like all methods.
It feels because of probably like any other method can fail.
That is it.
It's not because it has moved.
No. Okay. If it moves, yes.
What they say, niliambiwa daktari coil yangu ilisonga ndio maana nikapata. That's what most people say.
Okay. The common cause of actually the coil spacing may actually because it may move a bit. If it moves a bit where it is not in the right place, then it will not work as efficiently as it's supposed to be. So that's why some people may conceive. That's why it's very important. Like when you go for your annual pap smears, I hope, or your clients have their annual pap smears. So it's good to ask the doctor, is my coil still in place? Yes. The right place. That is important. And even after insertion of your coil, maybe after a month or two, because most coils tend to move in the first 3 months. Have it rechecked to make sure that it's still in the right place.
Okay. So after that, like how often would you still keep it to have the scans done? After the 3 where you're saying it's most common?
Since the good thing that you're always going for your annual pap smear, then at this time of the pap smear check, that's the time now you can also have, is that my coil still in place? Because I would urge all your clients, all the clients who are watching, that's very important for all women over the age of 21, or if you've been sexually active from before, to have an annual pap smear done. At the time of the annual pap smear, you'll have the coil checked.
Or the most recommended, which are the best family planning that would you recommend?
Well, family planning, I think I can just talk to them in general. Is that there are several types. And you have what you call the natural family planning, and you have the artificial methods. And the natural family planning briefly I can mention them. The national family planning is where if a woman has delivered one of them, it's what you call the first 6 months after delivery. When you must fulfill 3 criteria. One, you must be breastfeeding exclusively. You must not have periods, and you must be within 6 months of delivery. That is called lactation amenorrhea, and women can still work a family planning method for the first 6 months after delivery, as long as it's within 6 months, they are not having any periods, and they're breastfeeding exclusively. The other method is the other national family method is use of the calendar. The good thing now is that we have applications which can show you which are your fertile days, which are your safe days. I don't have to belabor that point because digital technology has shown us that you can actually really even predict when your menses are coming and they tell you which are your fertile or safe days. Then you also have the mucus method. This is where you check on your cervical mucus. When you are fertile, the cervical mucus is stretchy. It can actually, it's almost like the egg white. It can actually stretch as much as you can. When you are not fertile, it breaks easily. So you can know from the cervical mucus of the discharge what kind of, whether you are fertile or not. Then the other one you can also have is a withdrawal method. You know, when couples are having intimacy, the man, when he's about to ejaculate, he can just, come out. That has a high failure rate. Because the problem is, by the time a man is coming out, almost 50% of the sperms are coming. So that doesn't work as well.
That fails terribly. Guys don't use that.
It tends to fail a lot.
99, okay, let's say 95% is going to fail because safari kishafika sometimes with the minute.
It fails a lot. So those are the common methods of what you call the national family planning. We don't need to use anything. Then if you come now to the artificial methods, you have the commonest, you have the injections. There's a 3-month injection, there's a 2-month injection, there's a 1-month injection which was got discontinued. And they all use the hormone progesterone. That means the 3-month and the 2-month. Then you also have the pills. There are many in the market. And they have 2 hormones usually, estrogen and progesterone. There are different types. You have the shabuolangu, you have the microgynon, you have the mavelon, you have the macilon, you have the dronis, you have the jasmine. It's fantastic, especially the pills are especially very good if you're trying to control your periods. Like if you want to make them lighter and more predictable and less painful. Then you also have the patch.
But now the pills, the problem is if you're a very busy lady, mom, forgetting is going to be inevitable. I tried that and it didn't work.
That's very true.
Because forgetting. Because if you forget even just one day, you'll have to take
2 the following day.
2 of them.
Yes. If you forget today, tomorrow you have to take.
And there was that I can remember in family planning class used to take like 7 of them.
If now you forget for more than 2 days, then you have to take continuously for 7 days and use a protection. So the important thing is, if you find you are forgotten for more than 2 days, then you should not use the pill.
Because it's clearly you will not be able to.
You get a books. Okay. Then the other method is a patch. The patch is a fantastic method. It's available in the country. What it happens is that it's like a stick-on kind of a thing you can stick on anywhere, except of course your face, but you can stick on anywhere.
Any other part of the body.
Exactly. And you do it weekly. It's a stick-on every week. Let's say like today you start on your stick-on patch, you can put it here. Next week on a day like today, you remove it and put it in a different place. So it works very well. You can swim with it, you can shower with it.
What was the name of that patch?
Evra.
But guys, the truth is it's very expensive. So because weekly it's about 1,400, and that's something you want to be.
No, it's 1,400
per week.
Per month.
Per month.
Yes.
Or because there are 3 in the packet.
There are 3 in the packet.
So 1,400, but still it's not pocket friendly. Let's say.
It's a bit expensive as compared to the pill, because the pill roughly is between 70 bob to the most expensive is about 500.
Because when it comes to family planning, also cost is something that you need to consider. So
it's true.
Yeah. So the other one.
And the other methods you have, of course, you have the coils, which you have talked about.
Yeah.
You have the implant.
Yeah.
The implant is what you fix. We have two different types of implants we have in our market. We have what we call the jadel. Jadel is where you have like almost like two matchsticks, which you fix in the inner arm of your non-dominant arm. That means your right hand and your left hand. And you fix it on the inner side of the arm. Usually like two matchstick kind of a thing. And it can go for up to 5 years. Then you also have the implant.
But then when they're there, you can feel them.
Yeah, unless somebody really comes and really touches you with the inner. But it doesn't show.
Yeah, it doesn't show, but
Yes.
when you do this, you feel it.
Yeah, you feel it. Actually, somebody, yourself or somebody very close to you can actually feel it.
Yeah.
That's true. Then you have what you call the implant. This is that size, and you fix it in the inner side of the arm also. It's usually one rod. That is the implant. It goes for 3 years. It's up to 3 years.
Jadel is 5 years.
Jadel is 5 years.
And there are two.
And there are two of them. Then the implant, it is one of them and goes for 3 years. And they're both very effective.
And what is the, but do they make you like when you want to conceive again? Do they delay them?
No, if you want to conceive again, the good thing about the implants is this: when you put it, you will forget about swallowing pills or patching on something. Okay, but they're not expensive. And if you want to conceive, let's say you put it today, and next year, at a time like this, you want to conceive, you have it removed, but a doctor has to remove it, or a health worker. And when it is removed, within 72 hours, you're fertile. So the return to fertility is
Return to fertility is very negative.
It's very good.
Because like, for injection like the depot, usually people struggle so much.
The injection for depot, the problem with the depot, the 3 months one is this. If you go off it, you can stay between 6 months to 2 years before your fertility comes. That is why people find it too unpredictable, especially if you're trying to conceive. Yes. Then the other method is, of course, we have the condoms.
Before we go to that, sorry, I think you'll cut that off. When we're still on the implant on the jadel, people have related this type of contraception to low libido.
Okay. The hormonal methods.
Do they make you cold readings? True.
The hormonal methods, people say, oh, my libido goes down. Yes, to an extent that could be true, but not everyone.
So it differs from one person to the other.
That is it. If you find that when using a hormonal method, that maybe your libido is down, probably it could be the method you're using. And you can always change to another one if it becomes a problem. Because this occurs in about 5 to 10% of the people. Not everyone has a libido going down. But if you find the libido is annoyingly low, then have it changed.
Right, guys, we've exhausted on some of the family planning we have. So, how many permanent family plannings do we have available for both women and men? And are they reversible or are they?
We have two. We have for men is vasectomy.
Which they don't like. Hey, you guys are so unfair.
It's not as common, but nowadays we are actually.
Has it even ever happened? Have you ever had a case where you've done vasectomy?
Yes.
Have you?
Yes.
Really?
We actually have very many couples where the.
Very many?
Yes.
No, I don't believe your statistics.
Because they're not as many. We have seen increasing number.
Vasectomy?
Yes.
You know, for some reason, I feel like men, they feel like once vasectomy is done, it's like their manhood has been
You'd be
taken out.
surprised, Judy, that what the biggest barriers to vasectomy are not the men. It's actually the wives, the partners. The partners actually feel like the men should not have vasectomy. That's one of the biggest.
They feel like their man is not a man anymore.
That is it. That's a kind of. It's amazing. I used to imagine before that is a man who would refuse. But you find is a women saying, no, my husband's not going to have a vasectomy. My partner's going to have a vasectomy. Let me have a tear. Let me have a coil. Let me have an implant. Okay. So it's not necessary. Of course, also our community, our society is slowly now accepting vasectomy, which is a good thing. Because sometimes you have this situation of where the woman has had so many medical problems. Maybe she has diabetes, she cannot undergo theater, has so many illnesses, and where you find even any family planning method for her may even make her even to be more of a burden to her. So you find the best person would be for the man.
Okay.
So we have such instances, and you find what amazes me is that I find some men are willing to undergo vasectomy.
So for vasectomy, what exactly is usually done?
For vasectomy, what usually is that it can be done as an office procedure.
Mm-hmm.
This is where you have, under even local anesthetic, you don't have to go to theater at times.
Mm-hmm.
What they do is that the tubings which convey the sperms from where they are stored on top of the testes, you just cut, just discontinue. It's not reversible.
Okay.
But after vasectomy, please remember this: 3 months, that man is still fertile. So you must make sure that 3 months must elapse. You must use protection, either condoms or any other method, before 3 months have gone. Otherwise, there will still be some sperms in it. Some people even have to go and do a test to make sure that the man is completely dry in terms of the sperm. Yeah. So 3 months, don't forget that. It's not an immediate method.
Okay.
Then the other method for the women would be what you call tubal ligation. This is where we cut off the tubes. And people used to think, oh, we just tie. No, we tie and cut. So it's a permanent method. So don't say that tubal ligation is reversible. It's not reversible. It is where now you cut, or you tie and cut, and it is permanent. It's not reversible. And it doesn't cause coldness. People say, oh,
It's going to make
it will make the woman baridi, it will make her have backaches.
But once you have now TL, if you ever want to have a baby, you can do IVF.
Very good. If you ever do it, that is why we like to do BTL, what you call tubal ligation, for women who have completed the childbearing. And we don't like to do it on very young women unless they are very, very focused on them. Yes. Because one of the biggest problems of tubal ligation is regrets. Saying that, no, I'm done, I may not have more babies. You can still have more babies through what you call IVF.
At least for women, there's an option. For men, there's no going back.
Yes.
Once it's done, it's done. I think guys, for the family planning methods, let me check on some of the questioning had asked. I think all of them, if I'm not wrong, they have been covered. Okay, so also somebody asked, I've had copper T for 1.5 years, but infections every other 2 months. So infections and copper, and actually she's not the only person who has asked this question. It's a question that has been asked by so many people. Infections and coil.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very interesting question, because we see it a lot as gynecologists. One of the important things we need to realize about the coils, and especially the non-hormonal coils, you always have, as a woman, you always have increased vaginal discharge.
Increased
Increased vaginal discharge. It's